Oh, by the way, dissident, I don't think I defined for you. Dissident means to be without a seat. Dissident. To be seatless means you're not at the same seat with the elite at the table of information and of distribution of information.
Doctor, in your opinion, if we are the center, how do we navigate the institutions with such profound implications? Are the unintended consequences dangerous?
Oh, you mean, how do we overcome mainstream?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's difficult to do because how do you learn science? You learn it from textbooks. Who write the textbooks? Well, basically, all of the graduates from the mainstream universities, the Ivy League. You get your science information in modern times. You can get it from the internet. You can get it from TV. There are other sources. But ultimately, all of the content is written by mainstream. What you might consider is Wikipedia, which I call Wackipedia. I tried to correct something. I think it was the Sagnac effect. So I read it in Wiki, and I contacted them, and I said, I want to change some of the content. Well, it seems that there are gatekeepers. Okay, which detect anyone who's trying to change the what's published, and you get shunted off to a trial. Basically, you have to present your evidence to a group of mainstream. So this sounds like a peer review, except the peers are all mainstream thinkers. That wouldn't be bad if they were open-minded, but they're not. They only believe what they already believe, which is okay, but they don't accept evidence that contradicts it. So there's many forces that are present that are creating mainstream images, and truth is now being suppressed, actually, by the tremendous influence that science media has. And as far as how we can correct that, only by doing the things like you're doing, Austin, by providing information on the internet in a way that is appealing to, let's say, the modern audience. And the content is not only good, but the presentation, the videos are well done, animations, and so on. So what you're doing is part of what might be called a dissident revolution.
No, save this guy. I was trying to cook this guy right now.
Bro, we can get this bus.
Flat Earth Fridays on Twitter. Shout out to them,
sir.
a bunch of legends.
Bro, let's do it, bro. I think X is low-key pretty lit.
It basically comes down to, if you say that the Earth is the center of the universe, or what I would, more precisely, I would say that the Earth is at rest in the universe. If you say that, then you have to explain what Newton's laws normally explain as due to the rotation of the objects in the solar system. So once you become a geocentrist, you also must become an etherist. You also must believe, in order to make logical sense of the laws of physics, you must use ether once you decide that the Earth is at rest. You must always make kinematics and dynamics explicit whenever you have a discussion with mainstream people. That means you must emphasize that whatever you're talking about is either measurement or predictions, but you can't confuse the two. That's what Einstein did in his 1905 paper. He didn't distinguish between kinematics and dynamics. Remember that relativity is true, but only for kinematics. Relativity is not true for dynamics. The 1925 Miller results showed, which is the follow-up for the original Michelson-Morley experiment, it showed that the ether is actually about 5 kilometers per second in amplitude. We saw that the ether varies either with day or with year. So there are two different cycles in the ether. And we saw that the source of the ether is the sky, just as Hildegard modeled. The ALFA model restores the biblical geostatism. That is, that the Earth is at rest, is confirmed by the ALFA model, and heliocentrism is refuted. Modern physics has already refuted heliocentrism, so it makes no sense for people to argue that the sun is at the center of the universe, because no one believes that in mainstream. They all believe in acentrism, that there is no center to the universe, that any location is as good as any others. And So you could basically say optical experiments that don't include ether are not going to be successful. Now, there's a lot of talk about what is absolute. Earth was thought to be absolute by Ptolemy, Scripture and ALFA, and by Tycho Brahe. So the Earth was thought to be absolute by Ptolemy, which is 2,000 years ago, and by ALFA, which is my personal acronym for the model that I use. Copernicus and Galileo, of course, they believed that the sun was absolute. Kepler and GPS think that the stars are absolute. Remember that GPS, the error of GPS is in using the ECI system. That is not the reference frame that we use or that we observe. It would lead to tremendous contradictions in the motion of the sun and the moon, and it was even demonstrated by a film, The Earth Stood Still. Newton said that space and time are absolute, but he didn't tell us where. Where should I put the observer in order to make measurements in your absolute frame? Lorentz thought there was an ether, but what was his mistake? He thought the ether was rigid, solid. It's not. Well, part of it, the part that rotates with the stars, is solid, but we see that the ether winds and the other things that we've discussed indicate that ether is a moving fluid. Einstein said that light speed is absolute, and we see that that was false. Astronomer George Ellis thought that the CMB source of the dipole was the center of the universe, but that's not true. Mainstream believes that basically nothing is absolute. The cosmological principle says that every place in the universe is the same as every other place. The universal expansion of the Big Bang, well, we've disproved that, so that's not absolute. The steady state model says that infinity is the absolute, but there is no physical infinity, so that can't be true.